Hi, I'm Dianna Dilworth, Managing Editor at Brand Innovators. We're here at Cannes. We're here to talk about some rosé.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Clement Reid. I'm the COO, Chief Operating Officer of Fête Wine Company, based just down the street here in Saint-Tropez, south of France.
So, Clement, tell me about the brand. Tell me when the company started and why you decided to get into the rosé business.
Sure. So we launched La Fête du Rosé first. So La Fête is French for the party. And it really just speaks to how seriously we take ourselves. But kidding aside, rosé is fun, it's celebratory, it's symbolic of the south of France, the French Riviera. We're in Cannes right now. Our winery is in Saint-Tropez, which is an hour and a half down the road. And it's a wine. It's a product that really just brings people together, and it's a little bit of vacation in a glass. As we're looking around Influential Beach today, everyone's enjoying a glass of rosé. They happen to be enjoying a glass of La Fête today, but it's a mindset that when people come to the south of France, they know they're like, I'm going to drink rosé. And we saw a real void in the category back in the US up until we launched in 2019. Where rosé in the US wasn't spoken about in the same way. It was all about rosé all day, sundresses, rose flower walls, angel wings, targeting a very feminine consumer, which is wonderful. But then the rest of us didn't necessarily feel invited into the conversation or into the party. And so we wanted to change that. We wanted to bring a rosé label, a wine label that really speaks to everyone and that breaks down some of those barriers and is easily accepted to many.
So you made a more inclusive rosé.
Correct. Yeah.
Can you talk about how your background in the spirits business has kind of helped you see this opportunity in the marketplace and then execute on it?
Right. So my business partner, Dianna, who's the founder and CEO, he and I have been close friends for the last 20 plus years. We've each spent 2 decades plus in working for global drinks companies. And so really learning from the best. And through that, we learned how to really build an iconic brand and an iconic label and everything that goes into it. But we always saw this opportunity to do things a little bit differently. And so Dianna launched La Fête in 2019. I had the opportunity to come on board in 2021. And since then, we've caught back up, worked really seamlessly together. We complement each other really well, where he's really the mastermind, he's the visionary. He's the one who says, we're going to do this. And then I'm next to him implementing and saying, yes, we're going to do this, and here's how.
That makes sense. We're here at Cannes, where a lot of brands are talking about the ways in which they're showing up in culture to be sort of part of the conversation. Can you talk about how, your rosé brand, it's kind of a natural one for a conversation?
So the category overall, very much in line, in sync with culture. And for us at La Fête, it is absolutely part and parcel to who we are. Again, having spent the better part of 2 decades working for global drinks brands and global drinks firms, we saw all the red tape that was being put between the owner or the holding company, the winemaker, to the consumer. And we wanted to remove all those barriers, because with that comes a factor of really, in a way, intimidation or at least perceived inaccessibility. And we wanted to make wine in general, starting with La Fête, welcoming and inviting to all, so that anyone, whether you know a lot about wine or not, please come. Sit with us. Let's celebrate this moment. Let's have this party, and have a great time. And we've seen the response to that being really strong. Right, folks who previously didn't feel invited or welcome or thought that they didn't have permission or didn't know enough to enter the space are coming to La Fête and finding this safe space where they're allowed to just enjoy it. And my favorite tasting note, honestly, is when someone says, wow, this is yummy, or this is delicious. And that's totally fine. Now, if you want to have a deeper conversation about the varietals in the wine, how it's made, the tasting notes that I get, happy to have that conversation. But that's never first, that's always last, and only if someone really opens up and asks those questions.
And I love that, kind of adding to that education point.
Yeah, and it's a conversation that can really keep going, right? And we find that we've got brand evangelists who just love La Fête because of the label, because of the name, because of how they feel when they have a bottle with them or enjoying a glass. And then we have others who really geek out over how we source and how we create this style and how do we achieve year on year this consistent taste profile, and how does that work and what does that mean?
Right, that makes sense. Can you talk about then your approach to marketing in building a new brand?
Yeah, so we started, we launched in summer of 2019, which was an incredible 6-month run, and then obviously the world shut down for everybody. We were fortunate, especially thanks to Donna's relationships, that we were really able to tap into the zeitgeist of the moment. And so we had some incredible social media and online hits that really built this amazing awareness and movement that we're able to be a part of. Mm-hmm. And then when the world reopened back up in 2021, we took all of our expertise in the on-trade, luxury restaurants, destination hotels, major metro markets in the US, and all the secondary kind of seasonal destinations, mm-hmm. tapped back into all those connections and really built the on-premise business back for the brand.
How are you working with your strategic partners like bars and restaurants and retail?
So a lot of it is, again, blowing the doors off of the category, right? Showing to them that they can have more than one rosé on a list. There's a little bit of a self-fulfilling narrative where, when we hear, well, rosé doesn't really sell that much, nobody knows a lot of rosé, well, give them the opportunity, mm-hmm. because the demand is there, the interest is there. But if you only have one rosé on your wine list, for example, and someone says, well, that one doesn't really speak to me, then they're going to go somewhere else. You might still capture that customer and that consumer in some way, but just not in a way that really provides the full experience to the guests. And then the activations, the partnerships, how we come to life, we're always bringing in the south of France into what we do. So right now in the month of June in the United States, we're doing a concept called Fête Fridays. So Fête being the party. So every Friday we're popping into happy hours in some of our top accounts across the country. Mm-hmm. And it'll be us, our team, just showing up, buying a couple bottles, offering glasses to people, having those conversations, getting the party started, and then we'll go off and hit the next one.
I love that. So you're bringing the south of France to people.
Exactly. Yeah.
So can you talk about what's next for La Fête and how, I know you mentioned you were expanding into other varieties? Yeah,
so what's been most exciting for us over the last 3 years, we started with the rosé because that's really the standard bearer for the region. Mm-hmm. But every time we would come to Saint-Tropez to meet with the winery, to visit the vineyards, to blend the wine, we saw this growing phenomenon of local wineries producing wonderful white wines first. And so we decided to launch La Fête du Blanc, which is a white blend from Saint-Tropez. And then earlier this year, we released La Fête du Rouge, which is a Côte de Provence red wine, a red blend. And all of them very representative of the south of France. So again, we're able to tell that same story now with a full portfolio. We bring people in through the rosé, and then we introduce them to the white, we introduce them to the red.
Great. I think that's good. Is there anything else you wanted to mention, or did you want to talk about the competitive landscape at all? Or
I had the opportunity to connect with Mark and Brandon when they first started Brand Innovators 13 years ago. And it's been amazing to see the journey that Brand Innovators has been on, and how our separate journeys, but running them jointly, right, to where we are today. Now, Brand Innovators and Influential Beach really being ground zero for everything happening here at the Cannes Lions. For us at La Fête to be a part of that, to have been at the dinners, to be here under the tent, to be part of these conversations that really mean everything to us, right? We had Ludacris on stage just 5 minutes ago, and to hear everything that he's saying, the journey that he's been on, where we are today, again, when you look at the audience and the diverse makeup of who's here, who's speaking, who's engaging, who's running these panels, and who's engaged and running culture today is exactly where we should be.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us. It's a pleasure to have you at Cannes.
Yeah, thank you, Dianna. It's been such a pleasure, such an honor and a privilege to be here. And
thank you. Cheers.
Cheers to Saint-Tropez and to Cannes Lions.
Cheers.